and gentlemen, we are here for another episode of Conversations with Rob. Please like and subscribe. I'm down here in Dunkin' Donuts. We're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. We are in the evil demon, evil enemy district, whatever you want to say, of Davie Wassermann Schultz. I'm here with the person that's challenging Davie Wassermann Schultz. This is Jen Perelman. Jen, if you've seen her on Jordan Sheridan's program, and you've seen her all over the airwaves. So she'll be challenging Davie in the Democratic primary coming up. Jen, thanks for so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on your show.
So Jen, let's talk about it. The viewers know we have a lot of Bernie supporters that do watch this channel. The viewers know what happened with Davie in 2016, of how she's basically screwed Bernie out of the nomination. Bernie won over 23 states, but there was other states where there was shenanigans that went on, whether it was New York with the voting,
Nevada.
Nevada also. So there was states that were questionable. That if he won those states, it could have been a whole different ball game. But let's go into this. So Jen, talk about, was that the reason why you're running for office because you're a Bernie supporter too?
I am a Bernie supporter.
Do you have that anger against Davie of what she did, not only to Bernie, but what she did to the DNC and throughout her years as the chairwoman?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's interesting because that is how most people nationally have come to know of her, obviously, is from her role in the DNC. But remember, this has also been my congresswoman for 15 years. So there are a lot of things about her that I have always found, suspicious. Where she gets her money from, is a very big issue for me.
Well, she gets a lot of money from Big Sugar, right?
Big Sugar, payday lenders, private insurance, for-profit prisons, Next Era Energy, which is Florida Power and Light. I mean, it's bad. So the thing that happened with the DNC was sort of, I think, the last straw. And fortunately, somebody did step up to challenge her in 2016, as you know, and I was very happy about that, and I volunteered on that campaign. But yeah, I think 2016 was when it became painfully clear just exactly how corrupt she is, and that somebody needs to take her down.
So I was told, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when Davie came in, she was a progressive kind of person. She would stand up for, stuff that maybe me and you believe in. But as she got kind of pushed down into the swamp, as you said, she got into all these payday lending. She's all with Big Sugar, especially in Florida. If you're with Big Sugar, I mean, that's just like a conflict of interest. I mean, we've seen in the campaign for governor, Ron DeSantis won the Republican primary for campaigning against Adam Putnam, who was sold out to the NRA, sold out to Big Sugar. So what was Davie when she first came into the district?
She actually was my state legislator before she went over to Congress. And yeah, I actually remember when she first started out, she would actually canvass and go door to door. So yeah, I do think that at some point there was some sort of concept of doing what's in the best interest of a district. I do think that.
Yeah.
And I don't know her well enough personally to say what's in her heart and what she was really wanting to do. But the truth is she came right out of school and went into the State House. So she's been a career politician. Literally, that's the only thing she's done. She has her master's degree in some sort of, I think, political something. But she came right out of her master's degree and went into the state legislature. So this is her career. And that's also a big difference. It isn't just the corporate money. I mean, that's definitely a huge part of it. But I realized over the past few months, there's a second element to the people we need to select. And that has to be people who are not in it for their own career. So not only are you not answering the corporate interest, but you're not just looking out for your own career benefit. And I think that with her, it's a double whammy. She's corporate money and career. And so she's just not for us.
Right. So you've been kind of in the district right now and campaigning for quite a while now.
Yes.
A couple of months right now. What have you seen? What are the top issues that, Florida voters in the district, 23rd district, correct?
Yes.
Want to see from you if you win, or are just unhappy with Davie?
Yeah. For the most part, the biggest issue when her name comes up is the corruption. It is. I mean, that's really the key thing, whether if they know her from the DNC or whether they just know that she takes Big Sugar money. That's definitely the big issue about her. And I think that there's also the thing about voters, and I'm sure you know this, It just matters who they like. It really is. It's do they like her? And I think that she maybe is a little bit more aggressive. I don't think that she's very warm. I think that there's something that, I mean, we know that when she goes out and does a video, the negative comments far outweigh the positive ones. I mean, they know this. If you know, so something about her isn't resonating with people. And I think that, she's not warm. But that aside, the biggest issue I find down here really is climate change in terms of with definitely the progressive side of things. It's that and Medicare for all. Those are, the huge things. But one of the other big things down here is this issue with ICE and the fact that she increased the funding the ICE after visiting the detention center in Homestead. I mean, that's just more of a recent thing that I know people. I was just involved in a rally outside of her office the other day, sponsored by Ben the Ark. And it was about that they did not want her increasing funding the ICE. So they see her as saying one thing and doing another.
Right. So you mentioned the corruption a little bit with the DNC. I know it was a big issue, and I'm not sure if it was a big issue in the last campaign in 2018, but there was the issue with Agawam, her aide, with the corruption with that, where he was on all these computers, and most of the people that worked at the DNC fired him. Not the DNC, but the most Democratic politicians fired him,
and she
kept him on.
Yes.
Do you hear a lot about that issue? Because that was a big issue on the news, and it was the issue was with her laptop. She wanted the laptop, and she actually berated a Capitol policeman because they wanted the laptops, and she said she wasn't going to give it to them.
Yeah, I actually do not know enough about that whole case to really comment on it. I don't.
That's
something,
fair,
I mean, I heard about it. There are things that are big news outside the district, but that's not necessarily what's going on inside the district in terms of, I mean, that was not big here, and it certainly seems to have gotten swept under the rug anyway. But yeah, I don't know enough about that.
All right, so let's talk more about the issues in the district. So we have seen, as you said, about climate change is a big progressive issue, and also with Medicare for all. We've seen Davie Wassermann Schultz not come against Medicare for all. I don't know what her position is fully on climate change, but I'm sure it's a half measure.
Well, I mean, look, she takes money from Big Sugar and NextEra Energy, which is Florida Power and Light. So those two things alone are going to sort of tie hands behind her back in terms of what she could even do, even if she wanted to. And like I said, I don't know what she would do if she wasn't beholden to corporate donors. I don't know. But to me, all of it is just an appearance of impropriety that is just unacceptable with representatives. It's just not okay with me. And maybe she would do those things anyway. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't care about climate change. I don't know. But certainly it appears to be a conflict of interest. And we have a problem here. I mean, we're going to be underwater in 12 years, so we have a problem.
Or maybe less if they keep cutting down the rainforest as they are with the fires there. But let's talk more about the issues that you stand up for. As a progressive and a Bernie supporter, I'm sure you're for college for all, Medicare for all, and other issues.
It's funny, I actually prefer Pramila Jayapal's Medicare for all bill than Bernie's, but either, I mean, but I would, if I had to pick, I'd probably go with her.
With her. Well, what other issues do you hear on the campaign, Tricia, and specifically, what do you stand up for besides those two big issues?
The biggest issue for me as a criminal justice lawyer is criminal justice reform and abolishing for-profit prisons, decriminalizing marijuana, commuting, expunging, releasing everybody for nonviolent drug offenses. I mean, there's a lot of that, and also holding states accountable for all in the same way we got them to jump on board with the crime bill in the 90s, we have to get them to jump off board with the crime bill with those incentives. And anything wherein we're just incarcerating people for the sake of incarcerating people to make money is something that is just inexcusable.
So as a criminal justice lawyer, I'm sure you know about what Amendment 4 passed.
Of course.
And we've seen the Republican legislator fighting it tooth and nail and putting all kinds of obstacles in about paying for this.
It's true.
Yeah, so as a person that's in that field and you've seen this firsthand, what is your stance on what's going on with Amendment 4? And if you do get into Congress, how would you, and obviously you're not more on the state level, but you are a congressman, you would have a voice, how would you help to push that, up against Ron DeSantis as a congressman?
Well, we need to reinitiate all the voting rights acts that we could possibly come up with and get it out there and just be pushing for voting rights. But then again, I agree with Bernie. that being convicted of a crime doesn't negate your right to
Right.
vote. I just don't. I think these are two totally separate things. So, you're given a right to vote as being a citizen. A criminal act is a criminal act. They're separate. The issue with Amendment 4 is really complicated because what you're hearing and what everyone's hearing is, well, we passed this amendment and now the legislature is trying to undo it by creating all these poll taxes. And it seems that way, and it is in some sense that way. However, the people that promoted Amendment 4 were well aware that the payment of fines would have to be on there if that were even going to pass. In fact, they did focus groups prior to the amendment, the amendment being on the ballot, and they did realize that if it didn't provide for the payment of restitution fees and costs, it wouldn't have passed. So they anticipated that to some extent. Now, I don't agree with it in theory, because to me, civil debt has nothing to do with your ability to vote. When you go to prison, your costs are converted to what we call civil debt, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we all have civil debt. You have a mortgage, you have whatever you have civil debt. It doesn't preclude you from voting. I'm not suggesting they don't have to pay the debt.
Right.
I'm just saying it should not be in any way tied to their right to vote.
Oh, yes.
Correct. So that's what it is. And actually, I'm going to be doing pro bono work with a colleague of mine where we've gotten a list from Florida Rights Restoration Coalition of people that need help getting either their money reduced to community service hours, or you also can get restitution waived if you contact the victims, and there's a process. And we're going to start taking on a list of those cases and just trying to knock them out as fast as we can.
So 2 more questions. Have you spoke to the Davie Wassermann Schultz campaign about debates?
No,
What do you think they're going to do against any debates? Because we see it in 2016. She did one televised debate.
It wasn't
and
really a
then-
debate.
Yeah, and it was more
It was
of the
15
moderator.
minutes of Jim Davie and
Yeah.
a planned question and answer session, and they knew exactly what they were saying. There was no debate involved.
Right.
I honestly don't need to debate her. I really don't. If she wanted to, I'd be more than happy to, but I would venture to say she would not be wanting to sit at a table and talk about issues with me. I just don't. I've thought about this. What would we debate? I would say I believe in Medicare for all. She'd give some around the way talking of
Obamacare,
platitudes or whatever, and it would come to nothing. So there's no there. So
Right,
I
true.
feel like it won't serve in any capacity other than for people to just want to see me and her sitting together.
Right.
That's a circus.
So we've seen on the ground, you said you've been going door to door.
Sure.
What have you saw on, I know we just talked about the issues that people are coming up to talking about. What have you seen on the ground as far as, enthusiasm, people saying, we're with you? Do we think this could be another AOC moment where, she tries to throw some big money in at the end but it's already, too late?
Money-wise, even if she outspends us 10-1, that's not what it's going to come down to. It isn't a money thing. It's a ground game here. And
Okay.
it's not, this isn't going to be, I hope she wastes an inordinate amount of money on TV advertising and stuff like that, because I will have all the kids and the college students and the high schoolers that are out there on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, and she'll never get that group, So we're very different audiences. Keep in mind, she's going to get a lot of older people in the district. Most young people are not going to go in that. They're just not going to go in that direction. And so we don't need, it isn't, look, Joe Crowley outspent AOC 10-1.
Yeah.
And it didn't come down to the money.
So what is your ground game? I know you talked about college students, high school students.
All of that, yeah.
What is the ground game look? Are you just doing door to door? Are we doing phone calls? Are we doing a lot of stuff on social media? Like you
Lot.
said?
We're all of the
Snapchat
above.
and-
We're all of the above. We're on everything. But I really think what it comes down to is just going and meeting people and getting out there. We have people are hosting meet and greets and just being out there and meeting people. Today I spent a couple of hours calling and thanking people that donated money, and I'm talking even down to $50 donors. Like, I'm just calling, and you should see how amazed that people are like, oh my God, you're calling to thank. Like, no one does that. You would be amazed at how that is. But my campaign is a service campaign. And as soon as we haven't even officially launched yet, by the way, so we're gearing up for that. But when we have a substantial team of volunteers, we're going to be out in the community doing service. There's going to be all sorts of local organizations, whether it's my mom works at this place called Mobile School Pantry, or any organization. And it'll be people there in Gen 2020 t-shirts doing public service all the time. And that's what this is. We're a service organization.
And how can people from outside the district help out? Is there any way they can do like phone banking right now, or we?
What we need is for people to go on to gen2020.com, and you can register with the campaign, and you can say what you want to do to help. And some of it is just check off, can help with social media or anything that you would want to, whatever you would want to do. And of course, we need donations.
Right,
you know, obviously, you know, we're hoping to get $23 a month for District 23,
right,
and do small. I mean, look, my dream would be to have all of Bernie's volunteers send me $1 a month.
Yeah.
If I got 10% of Bernie's volunteers sending me $1 a month, plus I think it would be poetic justice.
Have you spoke to? Agreed. Have you spoke to any of these progressive campaigns, Bernie or Elizabeth Warren? Or
well, I would beg to differ about Elizabeth Warren being
right. True. But she's better than Joe Biden.
I do. Look, I know this. I can say this for a fact that Nina Turner knows I'm running and knows who I am because I met her, and that was really, really cool. So now whether that's trickled upward to Bernie, I don't know.
But that's someone
and I
really
do know for a fact that Tulsi Gabbard knows who I am and knows I'm running, which is really cool. Yeah.
Okay,
so that's actually
great.
really cool. I know. It's very cool to me.
Right. So at least they know. Hopefully it does trickle up. Even if it doesn't get Bernie, somebody can maybe, like Nina Turner could come out and she can really rile up a crowd.
You know what? I am, you know, I'm so hopeful. I'm somewhat skeptical, but I'm so hopeful that this could be the year that things really go in our direction. But regardless of what happens in the primary for that, I am still hoping that we could still get some support either way from that camp come our August primary.
Right.
You know, because, you know, there'll be a nice chunk of time.
Right, between the primary.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, are we seeing, obviously this is a big progressive area, Democratic area, I guess.
Yeah.
Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. Are you seeing people from, you know, that are hearing about you from Palm Beach and Miami-Dade helping out, or is it just
Miami-Dade for sure, because remember, part of Miami-Dade is our district.
Her district, that's
right.
true, yeah.
So I do have some good connections down there, and we have a few in Palm Beach, actually. My campaign manager is from Palm Beach County. So,
okay.
I mean, we have a few connections. This weekend I'll be up at the Florida Democratic Party convention. And so I'll get to actually see supporters that I know that are in Hillsborough, Pinellas, you know, a whole bunch of counties. Yeah, there's a lot of people around the state that are really excited because people that are Bernie people.
Yeah. There's a lot of Bernie people in this state.
There are.
Just, you know.
They're having to fight within the blue establishment.
Right.
And we spend more time fighting our own than we do fighting the right.
Right. No, I agree. So, Jen, thanks so much. Definitely support Jen. If you could give the social media and the website.
Yeah, it's gen2020.com. And then our Facebook is Gen2020. And our Twitter and Instagram are GenFL23.
All right, Jen, thanks so much. And everybody, definitely help out Jen if you can, whether it's texting, phone banking, if you're in this area. Also, donating would be great. We need to get some more progressives in Congress and definitely get Debbie out. She's not doing anything good for anybody, just for herself and all the big wigs and the big donors. So please help her out. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you guys.